Welcome back. In the previous video, we looked at basically what an MS Access database is, and we also got to know their users and how to start it up. Therefore, in this video, we are going to see how we can input data and also understand the different types of data in an MS Access table. Previously, we had said that MS Access starts with a table already known as table 1 that has been opened. So we'll go ahead and represent this table in some different ways. Now, a table can be represented in two different ways. One is the design view and the datasheet view. So the view that we have right now is the datasheet view, which is ready to accept information, but we need to customize that information, especially with regard to the fields, so that whatever we'll be entering will be the expected field, or whatever we can customize whatever we want to enter as the field. So we can right click the table, and then now click design view. Now you realize that when you click design view, the system recognizes that it has not been saved yet. So it will prompt you to save as the table. Now you will give it your name, customize it. There is the camel notation where the first letter of each word is capitalized. So that's what I always like, and I will also let the word TBL, small TBL, precede any of the tables that I'm going to create. It becomes very easy for you to recognize what a table, whether it's a table or other objects. So for now, I'll write TBL to start us with the table, and then now I want us to use student information. So I will input the following: capital D, student details, so capital S, then small letter, then capital D, student details. So that way I'm able to read what this table is all about, and I will also be able to know that it is a table because of the first three letters, TBL. Having created that, now the table is represented in design view. So any Access database requires that there must be some unique identifier to each record, and that unique identifier is known as the primary key. When you look at the icon here, just next to this arrow, there is something like a key similar to this. So that is the primary key. So that by default is always an ID, and there is an auto number. So one of the data types that are represented in MS Access is the auto number. This is a number which auto increments, in that when you start with the first type of info or a first record, it starts with 1. Then now it goes to 2, 3, 4, and it will continue like so. So that's why it is an auto number. So I will write this as student ID. Student ID is chosen because in school, when a student is admitted, he or she is given a unique admission number. So any student, or a registration number, any student who is registered in a school will always have a unique number. That's why I've used the student ID as the unique identifier, or the primary key. So primary key is a unique identifier which cannot be repeated, that will point towards each record. Now student ID is written without spaces in between. As you can see, I can easily write student space ID. But the problem is when we go ahead and do some other data manipulations, it will bring an error, or it will give you a lot of work in terms of encapsulating or in terms of keeping it as one. So you can either write student ID without space or student underscore ID. That way we ensure that there is no space in between the two sentences. So since any student number can be, it could be numerals, it could be text, it could be other characters, we will now change this from the outer number to just short text. Short text is a data type that allows you to store alphanumeric characters. Alphanumeric, this is A, B, C, D to Z in both lower uppercase. Numeric characters 0, 1, 2, 9 up to 9, and you can store up to 255 characters. So you need to be careful about this, but what we know is that admission number can never be more than 255 characters. So we shall use that as the alphanumeric data type. Now, the other important information is student name. So I will start with capital S, then small student, then underscore name, student name. This one also is short text because you cannot have a name greater than 255 characters. We shall also talk about the students class. Student class. Class may be a reserved word, so I don't want to use it. I don't want to risk student class. So student class is also alphanumeric. We can go ahead and write it as an alphanumeric character. Then we shall go to subjects. We can have English. This is the mark scored by a student in English, so automatically it is a number. So number data types can allow you to store numeric values, and the number field or the size of the number depends on the specific subtype you choose. You can have a byte, which is 0 to 255 characters. You can have an integer, which is 2 bytes, that is from minus 32,768 to 32,767 characters. We also have long integer. Long integer is the one which has been chosen here, and this has 4 bytes. Then we have a single, it's also 4 bytes. We also have a double. Doubles are very huge numbers. It also has decimals. Decimals take 12 bytes and depends on the precision and scale specified. So therefore, for us here, we shall just take an integer. So an integer is a number between 0 and 255 characters, and we cannot have max greater than 255. Basically, it's out of 100. So we have mathematics. This also, we shall take it as a number. Then sciences, we'll take this as a number as well. And finally, let's look at the total. So a total is the sum of the 3 subjects. So what can happen is we want it to calculate directly, and therefore we need to select the calculated field. This calculated field will allow us to look up the values that we want to calculate, and it will do so automatically. So when we select calculated, we are now taken to the expression builder. This enables us to navigate up to where our fields are, and then now we can do the reference. So in our case it is the student table. Fine, we have not saved we have not saved this, so what can happen is we leave it now as a short text. Just call it total, then I save it. So once I save it, I will now come and bring it here. So initially I had not saved it, so that's why it could not give me the values here. But since now I've saved it, I will have to navigate, because the information is in the student details table, and whatever are in the student details table are this. So now I will say this is equal to, since it's the sum of English, mathematics and sciences, I'll double click English. So when I double click, then it will be indicated in the expression builder. Then plus, because it's sum, I'll also double click mathematics. Notice that the field names are encapsulated inside square brackets. Plus sciences. So and then I'll say okay. Finally I will change it into data sheet. So data sheet view will require me to save it, but I will just go ahead. Now you must save the table first, so I'll save it. Now the table is ready to enter or to receive information. Now take note that English by default is awarded 0 because it's an integer. So we can still change that. When we select the number, you can see here that the default value is 0. So we can delete the 0. We default value is 0. We can also delete it, and also here we delete the default value. So once I do that and I change data sheet view, I'll be asked to save it. I'll save. Now we have our data. So we'll go ahead and enter student detail. So I'll just enter admission number 1000. Then I'll enter, so student name, sorry, Jane Kowalski. Then student class 2A, English, good student 89, so mathematics 90, sciences 87. So you can now see automatically the totals field is updated. So I'll go to the next 1001, Eric John. So Eric John is in 1B, English 88, mathematics 91, sciences 87. So you can see that the marks will be the same because less by 1 here compared, and more by 1 here, and same here. So it will be 266. Let's go ahead and admission number 999. We can call this Ken, right? Will be from 3C or grade 3C, 78, 82, 95. So there you are. Now the fourth student, 998, will have Wendy Walker. So for D, 77, 78, 92. So there you are. We have the totals auto calculated. So this is how data can be, or rather this is how a table can be created with the data being entered, now ready for data manipulation. So in the next video we shall see how we can get this data to be manipulated. That will give us a more meaningful view over the data that we have. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video.